Colorado, you guys have been fucking amazing for the last 10 years.
Let me start off with a Twitch feed this morning, and I got to get the whole name right. Mile High Hockey Lab.
The city of Denver, the state of Colorado, you guys have been fucking amazing for the last 10 years.
Live from Spectrum Community Services Studios in Colorado, USA. This is the Mile High Hockey Lab.
Hello and welcome to the Mile High Hockey Lab. My name is Adrian Hernandez. I am joined today by Ezra Parter, Evan Liu, Jackie K, and Brennan Vogt. We are here to talk about the Colorado Avalanche and really all news pertaining to the Colorado Avalanche, as we got a bombshell in the hockey world today. We will get into the Kaprisov contract as well as how that affects things going forward for the Colorado Avalanche themselves. We will touch a little bit again on our build and opening night roster, as some things may be needing to be updated with another week of training camp and preseason hockey. And then we will do our bold predictions as usual, hand out dings, X's, start our scoreboard, and get some new bold predictions that we will sort out next week. Thank you, folks, so much for tuning into this programming. It means a ton to us. There's more and more of you every day, and that's why we keep doing it. Please head on over to the website, milehighhockey.com. Head on over to Hockey Mountain High as well, where you will see some beautiful written material by yours truly. And when I say yours truly, I mean myself and the four members of this panel, other members of this panel here. So thank you, folks, very much. Give us a follow on your preferred social media platforms and hammer subscribe on whatever it is that you are listening or watching this procurement of hockey analysis. Look at those words. I got words today, ladies and gentlemen, so I hope you guys are ready. Let's just talk about it. Let's just get right to the subject at hand, which I think is the $17 million AAV contract that was handed out to Kirill Kaprisov at the tune of 8 years from the Minnesota Wild. One might consider this an absolute market buster. Evan, I feel like last week you were the very sweet guy in the corner who wasn't allowed to speak a lot. So I'm going to start with you this week.
It's every
give
week.
You the floor. Yeah, I'm going to start with you and give you the floor. So that $17 million over 8 years. One, is he worth that, being Kirill Kaprisov? And how does that change things in terms of the Marty Necas pending deal with Colorado?
It's a lot of money. Makes me wish I wasn't a broke college kid, but you know, what can you do? Sitting on my cheap red couch here in my tiny little apartment. But besides the point, I think Kaprizov is worthy of it. I think his number will obviously be trumped by McDavid whenever he signs a new contract, wherever that might be, whether it's Edmonton or not. And I guess what it means for Necas, I don't really know. I still think he's going to get double digits. It's definitely not going to be as high as Kaprizov. There's no way. If that happens, then we're in the upside down. I think it maybe pushes his number up a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that. What I'm actually more worried about, and I don't know how much of an effect it'll have on it, is what Tom Carr's contract will look like, because he can re-sign starting next summer, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, the Avalanche should lock that down immediately, and he should get the 8 years before that changes in the CBA, and that number is going to be very high.
He'll 19 per year is my guess.
It could be. I think it could be at least around similar to Kaprizov, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he takes like a sweetheart, hometown deal, whatever. But that's what I'm a little bit more worried about. But that's further down the line, and I don't know how much that the forward market will affect the defenders market, I guess, for lack of a better term. Sure. But yeah, that's what I'm a little bit more worried about. On the Necas front, I'm not too concerned, it probably bumps it up. His number up, I don't know, a few thousand, tens of thousands. I don't think it gets higher than like 500K difference, maybe as to what it could have been before, perhaps. But I don't know. Those are just my 2 cents.
I mean, I think there's space for that opinion. I'm of a different one in terms of how it'll affect at least the ask from Martin Necas' camp. I think maybe you're right. Maybe when the chips are down and the dust is settled, and in the event that the Avs do work out a deal with Necas, it might not look so gaudy. 17, definitely not that gaudy. You're correct about that. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's asking more in the neighborhood of, I don't know, like 12, 7, 5, 13. And that's just based on inflation and cap percentage. So that's kind of where I sit with the whole how it affects Martin Necas. But I do think it's really important, as you've done, to talk about how it affects the Cale Makar contract, because if we're really being honest, there's this is a tier thing in terms of talent. Cale Makar and Kaprizov are very much on the same tier of elite superstar talent. I'm not sure that Necas is there. He has potential to get there, but I still don't see it as being on the same level. So with that, I do think that there's a less of an effect on his overall price. But Ezra, how are you feeling about this? How much is too much for Martin Necas in your eyes? And do you think the ask has gone up to more of like an 11 to 12 million?
Well, I'm kind of in the same camp as Evan. I don't think this affects him that directly because they're not the same tier of player. Like the conversation was never that the two of them would make in the same area of money, because Kaprizov is clearly an MVP candidate player, and Necas is clearly a complimentary player. He's a great complimentary player, first liner, but not, not in the tier of Kaprizov. And I also think with Kaprizov, like, he is worth $17 million to the Minnesota Wild, a team that has the cap space, that has no other possibility of a player like that coming to town through free agency, realistically. And they just absolutely had to pay the man whatever he wanted. Mm-hmm. They tried to get it to stay at 16 by putting that out in the media, and everybody in the media was like, or I guess not in the media, but like the broad community of hockey was kind of like, yeah, 16, that sounds pretty right. And they're like, okay, great. Mm-hmm. I guess we have to do it. But I don't think the same thing would happen for Necas. I think 11 million is too much for Necas. Will they do it? Maybe. I don't have a problem with it if they end up doing it, but he should come in under 11 still. That's my thought.
I think that you guys are calming me down, which is very nice. You guys are calming me down. I saw 17 million.
Sometimes.
It really is. I saw 17 million today, and I still feel founded in a lot of the reaction it gave me. But Brandon, are you kind of in agreement with Ezra there? Do you think that Necas' deal is relatively unaffected by this one?
Well, let's see. Peter was saying that Necas' agent is, he's not very well known, and he's only got 7 contracts in the NHL. So he's not gonna. What's that?
Who are they?
Michael Deutsch, something like that.
That's the agent. Let me look it up.
The contract.
Oh, who are they? I looked them up, and it is Lucas Dostal, Martin Necas, William Karlsson, Pontus Holmberg, Edward Sale or Saul,
Chalet,
Mikhail Kuntz, and Jacob Rabinich.
They're all European players, and I mean his total contract is value is just over 100 million, but I mean he's not going to have much leverage when it comes to pulling strings, because he doesn't have much pull when it comes to, hey, I've got this player. Well, we're going to bring down the value on this player, and the players aren't that great, that big of players, other than like 2 of them.
But wouldn't that work the other way as well? Like, this is the cash cow.
Yeah, you would think, but the Avs aren't going to budge. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Well, that's my
notorious for not
fear.
budging. Yeah, because
Well, that's my fear.
Because Ryan O'Reilly left, Peter Stastny left,
Mhm.
or Paul Stastny left. Who else? Mikko
Well, I mean, you
Rantanen.
could argue Mikko Rantanen.
You could argue Mikko Rantanen. I mean, it wasn't the first time that Mikko had sat out and
Sure.
didn't re-sign a contract. He was late to training camp on his first roundabout, and gosh, I mean, those are just the big names that I can think of right off the top of my head. But
Mhm. And
Well,
those are big names, brother.
They've let a lot of players walk.
and
Yeah.
how many Stanley Cups between all of those people that I just noted that I just named off?
So I
See.
want to ask a question, just generally speaking, and then Jackie, you get to round us out for this subject here. If in another world, Mikko holds out, he gets his $14 million. How does that $14 million contract for Mikko Rantanen look today? Even if the Avs are eliminated in the first round still, how does that $14 million for Mikko Rantanen for the next 8 years look comparatively?
I think if you're only comparing it to the Kaprizov contract, you're happy with it. But you have to think about it in terms of the roster that the Avalanche have, which is Mikko Rantanen should be, or in this scenario where he's still on the team, he would be the third highest paid player on the team, not the highest paid player on the team. And that does matter because you can't afford a bunch of guys that cost that much money. Kaprizov on his own as the number one guy in Minnesota makes sense at $17 million. It's rich, but it's great because they get to keep him. Rantanen at that number, or even at 14, it has to be number 3, and then you've got 3 guys taking up that much money. It's a different situation.
Sure, and I agree with that,
Well,
but
how much longer can you
I agree with that,
really
except for
compare?
now in real time, we see how the cap projection changed and how the percentage of the cap changes with the new cap increase. So like we got banged over the head by Jay Fresh with the, well, actually 17 million is equivalent to 12.75 million last year. Well, then what's the 14 million look like? So Jackie, your turn. What is your thoughts on this? How does this change the market for Martin Necas? And you answer that question. Does Mikko Rantanen at 14 million feel a little different today?
Sure, it would. Any contract feels different the further away that you get from them signing it because of inflation.
Sure.
I just think that we have to break the thinking of directly comparing AAVs because sure, Mikko at the highest price point on this team, you would say that doesn't feel right, but we have to break that line of thinking because they're not going to be comparable. If the Avs want to have a line in the sand, they're going to continue to lose players, which that's kind of been their philosophy. And like the 14 million thing, I think that's taken as gospel as that's the only thing that Mikko would have signed for. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's negotiation. I bet that if they'd even approached the McKinnon figure, that might have got his attention. If you take the percentage that Pasternak signed for, even in today's cap hit would have been around 12.8. I think that's like the realistic ballpark that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe between 12.5 to 13. I think if the Avs were serious about offering that, that probably would have been the sweet spot. But
so what about Marty now? What about Marty?
Yeah, as far as Necas,
Yeah.
I agree kind of yes and no. Like I agree that he's not in that tier. Like the whole narrative that he's just waiting until Kaprizov signs, I think was a little ridiculous. But yes, it does set the market and it does set the high mark. And so if you see guys like Kempe and Connor sign, those are definitely going to more directly influence him. But I think the other thing is true. As we've been saying, the price only goes up. Like these contracts getting signed doesn't make it lower. So the thing that I always said is why we can't necessarily compare Necas to Kaprizov is we don't know if the Avs are going to offer a market value contract to him. All the other big names, that's not the question. We know their teams are going to offer them a market value contract. Necas is the first one on the list. You don't know. And you don't know where the Avs line in the sand is now. I've heard they didn't really take it seriously over the summer. They weren't really aggressively trying to get him signed. Well, I mean, were they just I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're okay with a market value contract, which I think might get into that 11 to 12 range, maybe. And yeah, that is revolting when you think that Mikko signed for 12. I know he wouldn't have signed for 12 with the Avs, but I mean, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point.
Not with the taxes in this state.
No, but we're also talking about Stanley Cup champion and pedigree, right? And history and loyalty as well. So that's where I wrote in it because I had to do a quick little opinion because as you guys can see, I was pretty fired up by this news today. And one of the things I mentioned too was like, I don't expect really anyone to take a team-friendly deal right now. I don't see why anyone would. Connor McDavid, of all people, is still up in the air in terms of what he's going to
I feel like his is different.
His figure's looking like north of 20 now.
I feel like his 20. Is different because it makes way more sense for him to sign for like 2 or 3 or 4 years. He's already got the $100 million in the pocket. Sure. So not to say that money doesn't matter, but like Kaprizov hasn't signed a big deal. Necas hasn't signed a big deal. So your outlook is a little different.
I guess I just mean like this is twofold. One, there are other teams in a window right now. And those teams also have the means of paying you. So this perception that I think Avalanche fans have where it's like, well, who wouldn't want to play with Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar? Absolutely, duh. But to look at that and just be like, oh, well, they're the best chance to win a Stanley Cup, I think is naive. I think there are other teams that are in the same wheelhouse closer to the Avalanche than people are willing to accept. And in that scenario, Necas has options. He has leverage. He can say, look, I could go to a competitor on the open market. Heck, if Edmonton doesn't re-sign McDavid, I can go to the team who was just in the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row because they're going to have plenty of money to throw around. So, I mean, that's obviously a little more, pie in the sky sort of stuff. But I'm just saying that these...
To interrupt your thought there, do you think McKinnon wants to put up with Edmonton media?
Yeah, no, but I mean...
Yeah, we're not talking about McKinnon. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He ain't going nowhere, thank God.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I agree with you that the Avs aren't like his best scenario. Like, so that's why I'm always
the better ones for sure. Yeah.
I mean, as Evan pointed out, his production went down on McKinnon's wing. So it's not necessarily this pie in the sky, like this amazing opportunity for him. So that's what I wonder is just the closer he gets to that unrestricted free agency day, why wouldn't a guy like him want to see it? These other guys are more franchise players. There's loyalty there. There's reason there. They might be, there's just so much more reason for them to come to an agreement. With Necas, like, you might be the best guy that actually hits the market. Don't you want to see that? So what number do the Avs have to get him for him to forego that and say, okay, I'm good here?
Yeah. Here's what I will say, and I don't think we touched on this last week. Is that the comments that Necas said about, there was the rumor that came out that he was unhappy in Denver and maybe wanted to leave. He kind of shut those down, which makes me feel at least a little bit better that we won't go through another saga of is this.
But what else was he supposed to say? Like,
no, but that's the other thing too. Is that that is it. I mean, it's PR, right? You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Jackie. I will say that. But there's no sort of like looming tenacity, I guess. There's no sort of negative aura, I guess, to Gen Z myself here. There's no negative aura around him or the team that is seeming to distract him. At least that's what I see. So
is he going to be called delusional if he's not? Is he going to be called delusional if he's not signed by January, just like Mikko was?
I don't think so.
I'm curious about something about your take on this, Evan. So you brought up Cale Makar, and I agree with you. That's the priority, even right now. if that's the case, are you more comfortable with making the decision to just let Marty walk, and know that you'll have enough to sign Kale, and that the picture you have, the pocket full of money you have, is a more realistic depiction? Just knowing that, okay, we're moving on from this, and we can go and find another winger, very serviceable winger on a right now very stacked open free agent market next summer. When I guess is the timetable where that will kind of start to creep into your thought process about this?
It's a good question, because I mean, obviously Makar takes priority. Like you said, he should take priority. And I guess I question, because you say obviously that next summer is going to be like a big deal, lots of people on the market. I question how many people will actually make it there, because that was kind of the issue that we had. I think we had this discussion about this over the summer or last week. I don't remember, but like who even could come in now for Necas and sort of make an impact, I guess, or be at a similar level, because there's just not a ton of options out there. So that's what I question, is if a player similar caliber will make it to summer 2026. So that's, I mean, I guess, I don't know. You ask it for a date. I guess I say the trade deadline, because then you can kind of decide then, but then you're kind of selling yourself short for the playoffs. And I don't know. It's a hard decision to make. That's for sure. Luckily, Makar still has another year until we have to go through this process with him to sign him. So it's not like it's not like this summer where it like had to get done and had to deal with Necas. That would be that would be problems for sure there. So
I guess I agree that Makar is the ultimate priority, but I guess we know that they're going to do what it takes to keep him. So I would say the anxiety level is a bit different. Now I understand that, like, this whole like, oh, they traded Mikko because of depth, like that was just all BS. But the one excuse I would buy is because they have to know that they can cover the Makar number. But between now and when his new contract would kick in, the cap is going to be up $20 million.
Another whole contract.
And that's just the projection. If they do better than that, it could be even more. So, you just have to, I know that you have to get through now and play and be able to make it under the cap now. But I just think when everyone was so excited that the cap's going up and it's like all this money flowing back into the system, you can't claim poverty. Like, you can pay these guys. The guys that you're not going to be able to pay are like your mid-tier players. Like, so Makar's going to get paid either way, and they're going to have the money to pay Makar either way.
Well, and Kale's agent has 51 contracts, 2 of them with the Avs. So it's
plenty of them.
Both Makars that are under him for the Avalanche. So to say the guy has a little bit more experience in at least in the NHL is to say something.
Putting it lightly. It's putting it lightly, really, honestly. Well, I think like it's good for us to keep having this conversation, because as these chips fall, if Evan's right and these free agents that are seemingly going to be free agents in the summer start to kind of fall off the radar in terms of being re-signed in real time, that picture will become more clear for Marty Necas. He'll lose a little leverage, but if those guys come in signed at higher numbers, he may very well gain a little leverage. So as this kind of unfolds, we're going to have to keep track of it, really, because as of today, the ticker went up.
I think the
product went up.
If all those guys sign with their teams, I think the leverage of what does my UFA moment look like go up.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting time for the Colorado. What do you know? It's honestly, it feels a lot like last season did when Mikko's contract was pending. The Avalanche are going to watch him light it up as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline. If there's no contract, everyone's going to get more and more anxious. But I'm just hopeful that all of this is really to say, because I think people get me twisted when I'm like, well, what about the Mikko contract? Look at the Mikko contract. How does the Mikko contract look now? I'm only saying that because I thought the Avalanche should retain and keep his services.
Well,
I have the
they
same
should've.
feeling for Martin Necas. I think that they should pay him, even if he's asking for more or closer to the fair market value than maybe the Avs are comfortable with. I'm exactly right where you are, Jackie. The days of using Nathan McKinnon's AAV as the line in the sand are over. That is an irresponsible take and an irresponsible tactic officially as it sits today. You have to pay people more than Nathan McKinnon. You paid Nathan McKinnon however many years ago, right? That's just how this goes. It's hockey, it's talent, and it costs money to retain talent more every day, more money every day. So I think that that's a realization that the Avalanche need to make. Otherwise, they're going to keep falling into a lesser talented group. It's just how it works. If you don't pay for the talent, you don't have the talent, and so you're not as good. And that's the slippery slope that I'm fearful of, because if the Avs go stalemate again with Necas, the trade with including Necas, it better bring over 87, and I still won't be happy, I don't think. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And I know you guys are annoyed. Just so you know, we're going to jump over to build a roster right now. I did not make a Crosby thing yet. I won't make one unless they are an Avalanche, but if he becomes one, I might have a party while I make it.
I was going to say,
did you correct the spelling?
Oh,
and yeah, I guess yeah.
There's a whole lot of shuffling going on right now.
Apparently,
I see that Bardakov is changed.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you can do it. Oh boy!
Wow.
New show, new season for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're just looking at Ezra.
There it is. Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Gosh.
Brennan, I don't want to hear it, bud. You just sitting over there looking pretty. So we are now looking
exhausted.
We are now looking at the build and opening night roster coaches board. And as we have it today, I've learned my lesson from last week. I will read these out to you so that you know what this potential opening night roster looks like. We have it as of today until we work on it. Lehkonen, we're going to go left to right, left wing, center, right wing. Here we go. Lehkonen, McKinnon, Necas, first line. Second line, Landeskog, Nelson, Nichushkin. Third line, Colton, Drury, Olofsson. Fourth line, Kelly, Bardakov, Kiviranta. And in reserve, we have Prishchapov, Bradley, Brindley, and sort of Ivan. On the defensive side, we have Makar and Taves, Girard and Burns, asterisk on Girard, who's potentially injured, Malinsky, Manson, and in the wings, Middleton, Amat, and Achan. Achan? How do you say that?
Sean.
I like it. Okay. So that's where we sit right now. We had a long conversation about Lehkonen and Nichushkin and how they will fit. We've seen lines in practice where Nichushkin is in fact up on the top line. Are we comfortable with changing that for the opening night lineup? Awesome.
Yeah,
sounds great.
Like flipping those two guys doesn't make a difference to me. They both bring something a little different, but mostly the same.
Okay, it's different but same. So we're still kind of they're mix and match right there. I hope they go with Nichushkin because I think it'll get him going offensively earlier. Now let's go down to. It does feel like the Kiviranta, Brindley, Bardakov, Kelly. There's kind of a mix and a little bit of Prishchapov in there. Are we still comfortable with how this bottom six is sorted?
I mean, Prishchapov's hurt. Bradley already got sent down.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're not.
Well, Bradley's in reserve
either.
Okay, yeah.
Same with Ivan, and he actually played pretty well last week. And I'm unfortunate. It's unfortunate that he did get sent down already, and that's kind of, I guess, shown that how far off the radar he's fallen, I guess, for the Avalanche, which is a huge bummer, considering where he was at last year, at this point. So,
I mean, it's funny that the ones that remain are all the shiny new toys. Is that a coincidence?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like, honestly, I would probably switch Brindley and Kiviranta. That's honestly where I'm at.
Ivan's second half of the season last year with the Eagles, did not impress very much.
But what opportunity did he have?
I know, but I'm just saying that.
See, this is like them already driving this narrative means that they know they have to have an excuse for why you can't take a guy that played half a season in the NHL to the next step. Like the AHL is to get ready to prove that you can play in the NHL. He did that. We've had guys like Ryan Graves was terrible in the AHL, didn't matter. So this whole like, oh, he didn't do as good because he was on the third line and he was never with any of the top offensive producers and he wasn't on power play one. Like, okay, sure, could he have scored a few more goals? I'm sure it was hard after going from people that know what they are doing in structure to, like he said, run and gun. But it's so funny that the excuse was already primed and ready to go. Because any other situation, you'd say, why isn't he the first guy? He's the one that's proven. He's the one that's been under your coaching and leadership and culture. But it doesn't matter. It's always about the new guys.
Maybe I didn't hear anyone from the organization talking about it, but it feels like that excuse is coming from people watching the team, not from the team itself.
No, Bednar said it.
Oh, okay. I missed it.
I heard it directly from Sneakoff, too, at the end of the year.
Okay, so
his season wasn't like he kind of slumped at the end of the year, and that's why he didn't really get very many opportunities to get pulled up.
That makes sense.
Well,
he was on the third line from the second he got back down there.
Yep.
So how do the Avalanche avoid doing exactly that with Brindley?
Take him seriously. Like I said, him getting 5 or 10 games before Christmas is not going to do it. It's about how does he get half a season and how does he set himself up to then be a serious candidate to be in the regular lineup from day one next year. It's all about a path. Like they just act like this magic wand is going to drop out of the sky and like poof, like this guy's ready. No, you have to put them on a path and a strategy and a plan to get there.
So you like Brindley as kind of like the first call up or call up, essentially.
Like I said, it's not about like first call up because the whole 5 to 10 game thing is just nonsense. So if they truly feel like he needs to work on something, fine, work on it. But when you call him up, he stays, is what I'm saying. So if that means it takes him till February, fine. But this whole 5 to 10 game thing is like, just like I said, it's nonsense. It's not real. It's just optics. It's to appease. It's just to say we gave these guys a chance before you go out and get your real players. And that doesn't put anybody on a path to graduation. So, could they give Brindley opening night just a pat on the back and make it say, look, we put a young guy in the lineup. Guarantee you he'll be gone before the first road trip because they're not sitting Kiviranta for that long. I mean, I guess maybe someone could get injured, knock on wood, and that helps his cause. But, like, they're not taking it seriously from that standpoint.
Sure.
Like, Kiviranta's not sitting.
That's what I was just about to say, because I was just about to move Kiviranta back to where Brindley is, because I think that's more realistic, especially based on the promise that is the contract that Kiviranta got. You know what I mean? I don't think you extend him, and it could be that they just
him.
It could be just that they didn't know what they had in Brindley, which maybe would have reframed their choice. But I'm still with you, Jackie. I still think Kiviranta will make opening night lineup, and I do see Brindley as I'm with you. Like I hope he's handled with care. I hope he's brought in to play a very specific and slightly limited role, so that he's insulated, can score, gain confidence, and then next season be a real bona fide NHLer. I think that's the model. And if it's not next season, it's got to be the year after. But I really hope it's next season. And then in the playoffs, he can have his coming out if there's injuries and things like that. You know what I mean?
Well, his ELC's over after next season. Now, because Columbus just burned a game, he does have another year of waiver eligibility, but like it has to happen quick. Like these things don't take years. Like everybody that Avs have seen for longer than 2 years, if they're not immediate, they're gone. Mm-hmm. So you get 2 years. You can see Ivan. Ivan's had 2 years. You can follow the pattern. So doesn't mean he has to be 100% NHL regular now, but he has to get set up to be an NHL regular next year.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree with you there. And I'm hopeful that is indeed what.
And hopefully
what
they have enough
happening.
motivation, because they need talent in the lineup, and they need something from Byram trade in the lineup. Just a thought.
Come on, please.
But we'll see. We'll see how they handle it. We'll see if the shiny new and the optics and those internal reasons force them to do things differently, or if they fall into the same pattern.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, unfortunately, you are right, Jackie. Like, and it's a bummer, right? I think my heart said to move Brindley and Kiviranta, but I do Kiviranta kind of being that fourth line right winger. I want to throw something out there, just for fun, and I know at least a couple of people probably won't like me saying this. What if Olofsson and Landeskog switch, just so that way then you can kind of extend
No.
That there's one person that I didn't think would like it.
I don't like it either. I think Landeskog is a much better player than we all remember. And if he's not,
keep in mind there's people not watching.
Mistake.
Yeah. I guess let me explain my reasoning for this. I don't think this is going.
You just described it.
That I do not think that this will happen.
Okay.
I want to make that known right now. But what I think could happen is, especially if, knock on wood, things have to kind of be taken as a precaution with Landeskog, that might be something that can happen, is that he could move down. And that would honestly provide some pretty, I like that third line. I think that third line is pretty good. Obviously, that makes that second line kind of shaky, but I like that third line. You could obviously also switch Olofsson and Colton. Again, I don't see this happening. I just want to preface that.
I could, because at some point they're going to need depth. So it's.
Are you reading Vaguely Sober's comments, by the way, Evan?
Yeah, Vaguely Sober's not happy about this idea, but I also
I know this is going to stir people up. That's why I'm again saying I do not.
I don't think it's crazy, because at some point you're going to have 3 lines that can score. So yeah, I definitely could see it happen.
Yeah,
I also see Olofsson climbing the lineup.
What Landeskog does so well, besides being a great offensive player, that I think, again, I feel like that's kind of forgotten with our time away from him. But he is so good at being the winger who does the center's job defensively, and Jack Drury doesn't need that. That's the only thing Jack Drury does well. So to me, it doesn't make any sense to put them together. Like, yeah, it might happen. It definitely will happen at times. There's no way that the lineup doesn't get jumbled. That's Bednar's staple. That's like most hockey coaches' staple, right? So that's going to happen. But like, to plan for this lineup that we have on the screen right now with Landeskog next to Drury doesn't make any sense to me. Landeskog's value is being McKinnon's buddy or Nelson's buddy that can cover them defensively. Nelson's better defensively than McKinnon, but like, Landeskog has to be doing that job, because that is what makes him so significantly more valuable at the wing than other wingers.
I think I definitely don't disagree with any of that. I think if Lehkonen is on the third line, that's when you start seeing this team has depth again. He's not a third liner. Let me preface by saying that.
Yeah.
But his value is in that he could play in different spots. I don't think the Avs are matching up with their competitors to having Lehkonen set and forget on the first line, because where you're getting a matchup over another team is if you have Lehkonen on the other lines. If you had him on the third line, then you're starting to cook.
That I agree with. I like that a lot.
So you guys made fun of me last week, and I think you'll do it again right now. But why can't you put Olofsson, who has scoring talent, on the top line and shuffle all of that left side down? Then you have Lehkonen on the third line. Because they did it with Drouin. They did exactly that with Jonathan Drouin. And I think that's kind of the approach.
Jonathan Drouin's not a good defensive player, but he's not like the black hole that Olofsson was when he was in Buffalo. So
sure.
But Olsen was good in Vegas. So if that's his truth, if he can be that guy on a good team instead of the horrible defensive metrics that he had on a very bad Buffalo team, then that could work. And I think it's worth exploring. But
I also really like what it turns
Landeskog.
that third line into. I'm sorry, say that again.
Oh, I would put Landeskog on the top line and Olofsson on the second.
Okay.
Before I would put Olofsson on the top line and Landeskog on this, and Lehkonen down to the third. But I like all these options.
I think against Landeskog, but I think he's age has slowed him down. It's not his knee; it's just age.
That's my concern. Like, I'm not concerned about the injury. I'm just concerned about he hasn't played. His age is getting there. He hasn't played in 3 years. What do the other bumps and bruises look like? Like, how cautious do they have to be if there's a bump or a bruise?
Yeah,
that's my concern.
Like, even watching Landy in practice, it's like, yeah, he's fast and he's getting speed back, but I don't think he can consistently keep up with the top line.
I think that's fair. I really do. I think that there's nothing wrong with that either, because I think, like Ezra brings to the table, his prowess comes in his ability to control the corners and to play defensive first hockey, and be a net front presence. And I don't think that is that. I think that can be a part of the top line, but I don't think it has to be. And the same is true. Like, the same exact thing is true for Nichushkin. The reason why I like it like this in particular is because, to me, this does actually resemble depth when you put it like this. Having Lehkonen, Drury, and Colton on your third line, that's a pretty nasty third line. And I like it stylistically too. Like, those are 3 dogs, 3 dudes that are willing to get their nose in there. And that's kind of what you want out of your third and fourth line, right? And this isn't a knock on Olofsson, because I think everyone has their own style, but he doesn't strike me as like your typical bottom 6 guy stylistically. His style is more of the top 6 scoring talent wise. It's just that the other side of the game is what lacks. And so that's what's holding it back. But as Ezra pointed out last episode, the top line really isn't out there to play defense. They're out there to score. And I think Olofsson gives you a better chance of putting the puck in the net at times than maybe a Lehkonen does. Maybe not a Nichushkin, because I think Nichushkin's pretty X-Factor elite in that regard. So maybe that's the one change I think you could make. Maybe you slot Nichushkin up to the top line and you swap him out for Olofsson. Then we're getting really mixed up and jumbled. But I think all of this is to show that the Avs do have options in terms of synthesizing depth by slotting somebody who's maybe not typically a top liner or top 6 player into the top 6. And you know how I know that they're keen on doing that? Because they did it for the last 2 years with Jonathan Drouin. So I think there's a real possibility that something like this happens. Before we move on to our player of the week, I do want to ask you guys about Sam Girard. Brendan, I know you've been at a lot of the training camp and stuff, not this week. I can't hear you.
They haven't skated. Like, they have taken so many days off and so many skates off. It is really hard to kind of pinpoint any changes, but but he has progressed, I guess I would say.
Yeah, I haven't been I've been up in Loveland this week.
Okay. So if in the event that Girard can't go on opening night, we just slot Malinsky up, move Manson over, or just put Middleton in that third pairing, however.
Well, if you want someone who's similar style play as Girard, you'd want to put a Sean in, or
there's no way they can play him in the NHL.
We talked, last week we talked about a non-NHL body for him, and then
but I'm just saying, if you want similar style play, you want Wyatt or a Sean.
Sure,
I would take
Girard is an anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
I would take Middleton over both other options.
Mm-hmm.
The other option is someone not on the roster. I mean, we've got a whole week to go. There's
true.
It's prime time for the front office right now.
It's waiver season, baby.
And Addard, I haven't had much of a chance to watch Addard yet, but I mean, he's got some good size, and I've seen from what I've seen, he can move.
The problem is he's a righty, though.
He's what?
Isn't he right-handed?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. Yeah.
So that kind of limits his opportunity. Which is, if anyone's wondering, like, why are we not mentioning him? It's just like they can't have one left-handed defenseman, right? In the lineup.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of size because that was one thing I noticed today at Eagles camp was they got bigger.
Yeah,
so. It's not always better, but not their forwards though.
They got bigger and meatier, so.
Not
Bagley says Middleton's a beefy boy, but he's also a penalty machine. That is possibly accurate.
That's not new.
If I personally had to guess, I would say if he's already on the ice. As I said before, he's known to really, really push himself. Unless he has a setback, I think he'll play.
Yeah. I agree with you
saying Middleton's a penalty machine. Look at his AHL stats.
That's worse.
Oh yeah.
Well, you have to factor all the fights in.
Yeah. Okay. I think he led the team usually in fights and in roughing penalties, and he usually led the team in penalty minutes.
And the sky is blue.
Yeah. But he was like the biggest guy on the team, so he actually said that it's like, oh, it's my job. It's like, dude, no, it's not. Play defense.
Play defense, sir. Sir, play defense, please. Well, I think that kind of wraps up where we're at least in terms of opening night roster. Not much has changed. We still have some conflicting ideas as to how the top line will sort out. But all this is to say that the Avs have options, it feels like. And that's a good thing. We will find out how those options lay out as the dust settles, and possibly we see some waiver wire acquisitions. I know someone in the comments was asking about, was it Reichel? Somebody was asking about
Lucas Reichel. Yeah, Lucas Reichel is rumored to be available in Chicago.
So, and they're wanting like a 4th round pick. So, I mean, I think the Avs at least have that.
The Avs just traded for him. No, it's joking.
I was going to say, bang.
God, Brennan.
I don't think they want to add anyone younger.
They want to add older, like Brad Marchand.
There it is.
They don't have the assets to get him.
Anthony says I'll take Reichel in a heartbeat. So there's some people out there who are interested in that, and I do think, Jack, I mean, we've been clamoring for an influx of young talent. So if they do it, that would be kind of a good sign in terms of that, wouldn't you say?
That guy just isn't on my radar. So he is available. I know who Lucas Reichel is, but I'd have to look into that a little bit more. But
as of today, Saravalli said they're going to try to move him before rosters are set next week.
Yeah,
but it's Saravalli, so
rosters need to be set by Monday, so waivers have to be put in by Sunday.
Good to know. So let's actually talk now about our player of the week, which I think is kind of a good segue, because we've been talking a lot about how Brindley may or may not fit into the lineup. And folks, there are about 700 of you tuned in live right now. Thank you so much for joining the program. Please head on over to the website and follow our entire catalog on Spotify podcasts and Apple podcasts, pretty much wherever you prefer to consume your podcast content. We are there. You can also find all of these broadcasts live on YouTube and Twitch, and you can find all of our past broadcasts on YouTube as well. But let's talk about that player of the week, who is, in fact, as voted by you all fans and followers, one young Gavin Brindley. I guess last week, I talked about Bardakov not being on my radar, and Jackie, you were like, what the heck, dude? We've talked about him. Gavin Brindley, maybe not on everyone's radar, but he's definitely made his case for being a part of this Avalanche team in the future. Is it more than just goals, though, Jackie? Like, what else do you see?
Well, considering I haven't been able to watch a game, a little hard to say. I did see him at camp, however. I did see him at the rookie game. I mean, what's obviously scoring's nice. That that's always going to get you brownie points. I think what they're looking for and what ultimately will decide how much NHL time and opportunity he gets is we know how Bednar is obsessed with forechecking and pressuring the puck and being able to do those things consistently. And he's going to have to use his speed. He's not the biggest guy, but if he can use his speed and be consistently effective in that area, then that's going to make them more comfortable to put him in the lineup in maybe a bottom six role where he can do that side of the game and then hopefully chip in enough offense for them to consider him for a permanent position. So I think he's done that so far, but we also need to see it against real players. We need to see it in a real game or against a majority of NHL lineup. And also when he's probably has a lot more real NHL players in the lineup with him. So where he's going to have probably less time on ice, lesser line mates, can he still do the same things? That's what the coaching staff is going to be looking for. So I don't know yet because, like I said, I haven't seen, but those are all not great lineups. It's what he's going to do in these next 3 games.
And then someone commented on my Twitter post, so I posted it live on mine. Forgive me if it's wrong because it was posted in French and I'm translating it. A 21-year-old as a 13th forward, are you certain he should play in every game for his development?
Well, the Avs won't have, I mean, it's a fair question, but the Avs won't have a young guy that sits around. They don't do that.
Oh yeah, I know. And he's also this guy is also friends with Barbalet. So yeah, he's pushing for Barbalet to be pulled up.
Well, Evan, this was your nomination, if I'm not mistaken, for the player of the week that has now won. No, was it Ezra? Was you Ezra? Okay, it was Ezra. Sorry. I saw the cat on Brennan's screen, and then I thought immediately of Evan is what happened there.
That's why I pulled him up.
So Ezra, this was your nomination. Tell me, obviously, we've touched a little bit on it, but why did you nominate Brinley?
Well, first of all, I'll say it's probably only my nomination because I responded first. I bet a lot of the rest of us may have also nominated him. I don't know. But I nominated him. I also, like Jackie, haven't been able to actually watch these games, but from everything I've read and listened to from folks who did, it sounds like they gave him a real shot to kill some penalties. And he brought some tenacity and hard work to the penalty kill that is definitely the kind of thing Bednar's looking for from him. And he also brought that at even strength. So he's playing the kind of game that can get him into the good graces of the coaching staff. And while doing that, he's also scored a goal in every game he's played, which, that's icing on the cake. It's not really what will get him into the lineup as a bottom sixer, but it is nice to see. All that said, I'm thrilled that he's done well and that he's here, but I don't expect him to be like we've said, the Avs don't let young players sit around in the NHL. That's not something they do. They did it with Alex Newhook to an extent, but they even sent him down. I expect him to be in the AHL sooner than later, but it's really encouraging that he could be the kind of player who fits in the same way that what excited us about Ivan last year, I think, is so much of the same things that are exciting us about Brinley, is that he got opportunity, he did well with it, and he worked hard and played smart. And Brinley's doing all those things as well. But Brinley has a much higher offensive ceiling because he's shown that he can score at a high level, both in this preseason, but also just throughout his career in college. That was, he was an electric player in college. So the possibility of him being a bottom sixer who can chip in is higher than Ivan. I think if ultimately he gets a chance, that he'll have to separate himself from, last year's Ivan experience by being able to maintain it for long stretches of the season and not kind of tailing off the way Ivan did. But I'm encouraged.
I think your question is a good philosophical one because I would say, people would say you don't want young players sitting around, but come on, I mean, let's be real. There's injuries, like how how long would said person really be sitting around doing nothing?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, to me, what is so important is a commitment. So let's just say, and I'll say this is not going to happen. I don't expect it at all. But say they did do that. They made the commitment. Brindley's your 13th forward. Maybe he doesn't play a lot early on. But if you've made the commitment, then he will grow and he will go somewhere with that commitment by the end of the season. So I don't think it's necessarily like the worst thing, like, oh, he's just going to sit around, because he's not.
Well, he's also waiver exempt, so he can go up and down at will.
I know, which they would do, but like what I'm saying is I don't necessarily think it would be a bad thing, because what these guys need more than anything is commitment. And if he truly had that from day one, that is going to take him further than any other plan that they have for him.
Well, there you have it. That's our player of the week, Mr. Gavin Brindley. I'm being lectured on the pronunciation of Bardakov. Is that how it's
Bardakov?
Bardakov. I like that one.
I'm right. Maybe I don't know. I might be wrong.
I'd like to hear from a Russian. I'd like to hear a Russian pronounce it.
Yeah, vaguely saying capitalizing certain words doesn't help. Certain letters doesn't help, really. Vaguely.
The Russians emphasize the second syllable. That's very
maybe
Russian.
That's what Vaguely's trying to purvey here. But I do feel like he has some promises. And obviously, I think that he will be in the opening night lineup. And Evan, that was your nomination. Just a quick word on why.
Yeah, no, I think you pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. Is that I think this last game on what was it, Saturday, right? I think against the Stars. I don't know. My days are over. His goal was sweet. I mean, to kind of get out of that rut, awkward play on the near boards, and then beat his man to the front of the net and pull off a pretty silky move was impressive. That was pretty promising to see. I know that's something that Bednar will like, is that he won a board battle, kind of got out of that, and then got to the front of the net, and that's promising. And he's kind of been given a timeline, a path to success, and that's kind of been given to him, and I think he's kind of taking full advantage of it right now. And I think that it's pretty comfortably going to make the team as the fourth line center. So
I mean, it helps that he's been given the opportunity, but B, he's delivered on it so far. I wonder just how, again, committed they are to it. If there's a slump in November, are they going to look to replace him? Like, how all in, our favorite phrase, are they with him? We'll see, but he's definitely there to start, and I think he's done well. I've liked him. I've liked what I've seen, but he's going to have to do all those things that they look for. And score. They probably, even in the fourth line, they probably are going to want him to score some. So, it'd be great if he was a real, true long-term solution. Because, that would be great. But like I said, I really wonder just how long the leash is. We'll find out.
Well, yes, we will. Well, Jackie, you nominated Martin Necas. Tell me why.
Martin Necas didn't play in a game, but come on, let's be real. He's the winner of the week. Who's having a better week than Martin Necas?
Yeah. Martin Necas is agent.
Kirill Kaprisov.
Anyone wearing an Somebody's going
to find Kaprizov in that same fountain that Ovechkin was in for like 2 weeks after they won the Stanley Cup. But the last one we had was you, Brendan, and you nominated Arturi Lehkonen. Tell us why.
2 points. And did you see that diving goal? Come on.
I know Lecky's magic. He is. I don't think he gets enough credit for like that hand-eye coordination. I see it especially live when you can see the way that he can turn his hands on pucks. That truly is like his magical gift. And I don't think he gets enough credit or just like hype for it. But that guy's hand-eye is crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good cast of nominations.
Him going down and then like just doing it from 2 knees like that, just
it's crazy. Yeah,
that gets me every time.
Yeah,
man.
It's not.
Lecky is magic.
Not quite fair. Yeah. Well, that's some good nominations there. We had Lecky, Brindley, Bardakov, and Martin Necas. Hopefully, and will definitely, as the weeks go by, those names will the poll itself will get harder because more guys will be performing well and on the main stage. As we are really close to opening that, I think what is it, 7 days now to first night of real hockey? Oh yeah, baby.
We're
That's
John Mitchie days away.
We're John Mitchell days away. Well, let's quickly do our bold predictions so I can let you fine folks get out of here as we've already gone over an hour. But thank you, folks, for voting on our player of the week. It's a new installment. We're going to do it every week. And every week we'll talk about who we nominated and, of course, who has won. But looking back on last week's bold predictions, we're already putting some dings on the scoreboard because the Avs are undefeated. So Evan's prediction had to be right because he guessed that they would win the back-to-back. And my friend,
that's I guess starting tonight. So
okay, so we don't know. So you failed because you didn't give me
one.
one.
So I won't make a new one. I'll just roll with that one.
Okay, so that's what I thought because I thought you were kind of talking about but I guess that would have been the week before.
That would have just been like one game. So I guess that's a little. But I mean, so if they win this back-to-back, then we'll give it to them. Even if they say lose the Saturday game, I think that would be fair. Yeah.
Deal. Jackie, you said them making a waiver claim before this episode. You're wrong right now.
Ride because they still got it good. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can ding if you want, but I'm letting that ride because
I agree.
We still have a whole week left of waivers.
I'll give you a ding for this week, but I won't. But I'll let you let it ride. And if you get it right next week, we'll definitely give you the ding.
Yeah.
Brennan, you gave me 3 season-long ones. I don't remember you giving me one that would sort out by the end of the week. You said Steinberg will make the opening night roster. That doesn't feel like it's going to happen, though. So should I just give you your X now?
I mean, he's still on the roster. I don't know. He's still on the roster.
He's still there.
We can't say that's 100% not true. He's still there.
But then again, Adder got pulled back up today, so it's
the call-ups today were so lame. Like, come on, you don't need to see one more second of TJ Tynan. You know exactly what he is. You know exactly if you call him up in the season, you know exactly what you're gonna get. Like, it's just so lame.
Well, this is another. The funny part is, it's like I pull in to the lot, and I see them pulling out, and I'm like, where are y'all going on? Is there something that I need to know?
Practice this way, guy.
And the other thing is, we don't even know. This game is in like 1 hour. Do we even know who's playing in this game? There was nothing.
Yet. At least Magna Addered and Tynan.
Right. It's a pretty safe bet. But as far as
somebody asked me who's the goalie matchup tonight, I'm like, you really want me to guess?
This is why we don't do previews for preseason games because it would all just be hopes and dreams.
Conjecture.
We're pretty sure the Avs are playing. That's the preview.
Yeah. Well, Evan,
can I have one opening night prediction though? Just one that Colton will be at.
Let me finish doing. Let me finish doing the rest of our old ones real quick. Ezra, you did earn a ding, though, because you said Brindley would still be with the squad as of today, and that is correct. So put Ezra on the board for a ding. Boom. You also have your season long that says Colton spends more games at center than wing. We shall see. I have Martin Necas signing a 5-year, $10.88 million contract. That figure that was laughed upon is starting to look a little more realistic, if not a little bit team-friendly. So hopefully that comes to fruition. And then lastly, I had Martin Necas, surprise, scoring a preseason hat trick, but he didn't play. And so I get a buzzer. Now
we talk about bold predictions. Yeah. There's one there.
Now let us roll the bold predictions promo. And while I'm doing that, the 4 of you think of yours this week. Jackie, we're going to let yours from last week ride, but if you want to give another, you are absolutely more than welcome to. Here we go.
I was just going to say Colton will be starting at 3C. Oh, sorry.
We got to go through our sponsor. We got to get
paid. That's right. This is Bold Predictions brought to you by Brews Ale House Brewing Company in Pueblo, Colorado, where you can find a litany of delicious treats to include some in-house beers that are in the European style, brewed with reverse osmosis water. We have a bunch of technology back there. It's really, really good beer. And they have a bunch of specials during the Avalanche and Nuggets games. So if you're looking for something to do while you're watching your beloved Colorado Avalanche, head on over to Brews Ale House in Pueblo, Colorado, and you will get beer, food, and hockey. So let us give our bold predictions this week. As you see, folks, every week we make a prediction. If it's right, you get a ding. If it's wrong, you get a buzzer. We keep track. I said the winner at the end of the year gets a box full of Miko Rantanen jerseys. Let's start with you, Jackie. Jackie, so you said, what about Colton? So again, so I can write it down.
Okay, Just the Hill will start like opening night at 3C.
Okay.
And then obviously I'll let the
think they're for real.
waivers ride until opening night.
Okay. So Jackie is calling Bednar's bluff on saying that Drury is the 3C right now. And I can kind of agree with that. Evan, we'll let your back-to-back ride. Do you want to make another one?
I haven't even thought of one, if I'm being frank.
I told you to think of one
for tonight. I'll say.
Okay.
I'll say.
We didn't even know who's playing, so that's extra bold.
Yeah,
that's why I chose a player that is.
You're working the game, Evan.
Huh?
You're working the game.
I know that, and
you need to know.
Well, yeah, but we don't know yet because nothing's been released yet.
That's why it's extra bold.
That's why I made a quick prediction about a player that we do know is playing, and that's TJ Tynan is going to score a goal.
My TV's going to burn down.
Yeah, because it's actually on TV tonight.
Allegedly.
I love that. Yeah, it is.
On
it is. It's on
TNT.
ESPN. TNT.
No,
TNT. That's right.
TNT,
that's
HBO
right.
Max, the whole fun times.
All right, so I got you down for TJ Tynan to make Jackie's television explode and score a goal. Brandon, what do you got for me? Make one that'll end next week. Don't give me
Captain
a
Eagle with a goal.
Captain
Megs.
Eagle with a goal.
Just
Mr.
this week
Medina.
in general?
Just this week.
Yeah.
This week. Okay, I like it.
Since he's going to be getting called up and sent down and called up and sent down and
who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ezra, what do you got for me, brother?
I'm going to go Trent Miner does not give up a goal the rest of the preseason.
Oh.
I don't know how
he is not allowed a goal against Ovi, so
it's
Does
funny
it still
because
count if he doesn't play?
I was just about to say
I
that.
worded it so it would.
I mean, I think that's fair.
Genius. Okay, that's good stuff right there. I bet you he plays though. I bet you he plays tonight.
I think he plays.
We'll see.
Oh, yeah. At least there's
we'll
3
see.
games left. I'm sure he'll play at least a half.
All right, so that just leaves myself. I will boldly predict that the Avalanche make a trade while the game is on tonight.
They did, I think, last preseason, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah, they did. I believe so.
Is it the Brandstrom trade? Are you talking about that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I think we see a repeat of that, and I do think it might involve the Raquel kid. So be on the lookout for that.
He's not on LTIR, so you can't get him.
You can't have him. So those are our bold predictions this week, folks. If you have bold predictions, throw them in the comments. Vaguely Sober boldly predicts a win tonight. I don't know how bold that is, but it is a prediction. It is a prediction indeed. We have I'm just trying to filter through our comments here to see if I missed anything. Folks, thank you so much for commenting. We've had some feedback from Vaguely Sober, longtime listener, David Nola. Thank you so much. Anthony Pacino, another Anthony. We've had lots of contributors here today in our chat. And folks, if you do want to be a part of that, please tune into our episodes live on YouTube and you can join us in the conversation. And we will touch on whatever it is that you bring to the table, even if it's talking about Sidney Crosby, especially if it's talking about Sidney Crosby.
Brad Marchand.
As Ezra begrudgingly shakes his head.
Wait for the day that Brad Marchand watches this podcast and demands commissions from.
What happens if Sid goes to Florida?
You walked into it.
Well, if it goes to Florida, then I think every team that's not paying normal taxes should have to pay the NHL what other teams pay in taxes. Just to get,
That was brought up on Spit and Chicklets.
just to
That
make
they
the
have
pot
to pay,
right, you know.
that they should have to pay a royalty or something like that.
I still
That
think
will
it's
not go over
overblown.
well.
Oh no. Well,
Well,
and you know how
Florida's
much
paying-
money that saves all the players by playing in those states? Like as in
sure.
terms of, because you have to file taxes in every state you play. So if you're
Mhm.
going and playing even just a few games in like Florida, Texas, what other states are
But if you're in the
Washington?
Atlantic Conference and you play more games against Tampa and Florida,
I was
that
just about
impacts
to
you
say
too.
that, yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
but
know. I think
just the point is, it's like they save so much in taxes just by playing in those states.
but aren't those
Yeah.
also the states that have high property tax?
Just stop eating avocado toast, you millennials. How about that? That's at least what I'm told. Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. That'll do it for me today, as I've just, ridiculed avocado toast lovers. But you guys have been awesome. We officially have about 1,000 people watching right now, which means that we're getting closer to the season, because that number tends to creep up as we get closer to the season. And the more of you that come and the more of you that share our content, the more success we have and the more likely we are to keep doing this. So please share this stuff with your fellow Avalanche fans, your fellow hockey fans in general. Please head on over to the website, milehighhockey.com. I just released a piece about Martin Necas' market and how the Kirill Kaprisov contract might affect that. It is an opinion piece. It is not reporting, but go check it out. We also have another roundtable that will soon be out. Brandon and Evan working over at Hockey Mountain High, so go check that out as well. And be sure to give everyone here a follow on their individual and private social media platforms, because it goes a long way to seeing exactly what all of us are doing. I feel like I've touched on everything. Do you all have anything else to say? No, wonderful.
No.
You guys,
I'm hungry.
Florida is paying somewhat of a tax this season with no Barkov, no Kachuk. That
Oof,
injury is so
rough.
sad.
Yeah,
I like
Team
Barkov
Finland
a
just got a lot worse. Team Finland just got a lot worse too. I think Mikko might end up the captain in the Olympics, but hey, just saying. Well, that does it here at the Mile High Hockey Lab, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, maybe we will see tonight a shutout from Trent Miner. Knock on wood. I said the word. Sorry, my bad. But let's hope let's hope that it comes true, so that we can give Ezra, the current leader in our bold predictions, another point. Until then, go Avalanche.
Thank you for tuning into the Mile High Hockey Lab.